It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
For my people that don't get to see me, trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching say, make this for my people that don't get to see me, trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching, hey, 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 motivation.
It's been difficult because I hadn't been able to see my grandchildren.
An expression on someone's face when you do something nice for them.
I miss all my friends in school.
Visit GetVaccineAnswers.org so you can make an informed decision about COVID-19 vaccine.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Let's get back to getting ticks instead of watching flicks. Before we can safely get out there, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit GetVaccineAnswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your crew.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Are you ready? It's time. The inaugural Urban NerdCon is coming to Montgomery, Alabama, July 29th through the 31st. Blurs, nerds, and geeks from across the universe will converge on the capital city to see celebrity guests such as The Last Dragon, Tybach, Megan Tandy, and voice actor Dave Fennoy.
Hey, how you doing? I'm voice actor Dave Fennoy with a shout out to all my geeks, freaks, and urban nerds. Just want to let you know I'm going to be there and I want to meet you at the Urban NerdCon Gaming and Cosplay event. It's happening July 29th through the 31st in Montgomery, Alabama. Hope you want to meet me as much as I want to meet you.
So join us by visiting theurbannerdcon.net for ticket and vendor information. This will be the premier blurred event in the universe. TheUrbanNerdCon.net. Our heroes, our villains, our stories, everyone's con. See you there.
Whether it's advice on managing your anxiety or tools to help you stay grounded, Coping 19 provides a range of resources and self-care tips. to help you cope with this pandemic. We can help. Find the resources that work best for you at coping-19.org.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em! It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
Thank you.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to another live edition of the ONG Strike Zone. Brian Fulford, Kelvin Rozier, Kofi Hemingway, the triumvirate is here in full effect, and it's good to be back. It's good to be back with you at our normal 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's always good to be back. So we threw people a curveball with the central time start last week, but folks adapted. So we got a good show planned for you today. Kelvin, Kofi, how you doing, brothers?
We're doing all right, man. How are you?
I'm well. Honest
You took a long time to answer that question, man.
I'm learning how to be honest with my feelings and emotions these days, Kofi. So I'd be lying if I told you I'm great. I want to be great. I messed around and was listening to Mia. I'm listening to Sirius XM Heart and Soul, which, by the way, if you don't listen to Sirius XM Heart and Soul, you're missing out on a great channel. But one of those songs that Tamia sings so beautifully had me all in my feelings about things as I was listening to it, as I was reminiscing about the days gone by. Yeah. So that was just 30 minutes ago. So it's like I still hear her voice in the back of my head. And so yeah. So
Hey, Brian, were you on that Hennessy and looking at old pictures?
Thankfully, no. Baby, look, if I would not have been on this show with you, though, the Hennessy would have been out, and I would have been stalking people's Facebook pages. I'm just gonna say that might have been the truth of what might have happened, and so I'm just gonna keep that real and quiet.
The one that got away. I understand, man. We all have one.
Haunted every day by it. But you know, that's a two-way street. So I have to keep telling myself, you know, that thing is a two-way street. You have to want to be wanted, right? All right, you have to be wanted, I guess is how it goes, right?
There you go. Shake it off, brother. Shake it off. We got your back, man. Man up. Put your big boy britches on.
Yeah. So what's the latest with you guys? What's going on?
Think about you. It's bittersweet.
Stop.
It's bittersweet.
Stop.
That's I always love you.
Cole, that was wrong, Cole. That was wrong, man.
I was wrong.
No. Wait. Why does it hurt so bad?
Oh, stop, Tina.
Why do I feel so sad? Thought I was over you, but I keep crying.
All right, so we're gonna move.
Hey, Kobe, he gonna be like
no
Red in the movie Friday.
She's gone.
He gonna cry when we go to break.
Man, but Stop it.
He gonna cry when we go to break.
Ain't
We're
no
professional, so you're
sunshine when she's gone.
making me feel bad. Now I look bad, feel bad. Look, hey, great show coming up for you today. We've got some quick hitters, some great interviews to start the show. Live from Eugene, Oregon. We got a conversation coming up here in probably a little less than maybe 10 minutes with Rachel Robertson, FAMU's track and field champion, SWAC champion, high jump, triple jump. She's competing in the NCAA Nationals in Eugene, Oregon. She is over there right now. She'll be talking to us about the experience coming up here very shortly. So it's great to have Rachel on the show. Then at the bottom of the hour, Coach McCullum, he was gracious enough to reschedule for us after last week's technical issues. And so he's coming on this week. We got to be quick with Coach because Coach has got the finals. You know, he's going to be watching the NBA finals. It is game 3 taking on tonight. So he even made time to, what did he tell you, Kelvin? We can't go too long because game 3 starts, right?
He want to catch the game.
Yeah, so that'll be good. Maybe he'll give us some insight on who. But you know, we gotta be careful because if we get Coach to talking, man, it'll carry off into the second quarter. So we got to be careful with that. And coming up a little bit later in the show, we might even open up the phone lines. Got a lot to talk about. National Alumni Board of Trustees meetings finished up last week. Lots to talk about there, I'm sure. We'll keep it as PG-13 as we can, I'm sure, but it is what it is, right?
There you go.
Yeah, I know. Shout out to the folks in the chat rooms. If you're watching us on YouTube, appreciate you. Shout out to Dr. Lori, moderator. So she's holding it down in there. So if you guys get out of control, she will snipe you. She'll get you out of there real quick. So we appreciate Dr. Lori for coming in and everybody in there. Tamara T, Double OC's in the house early. I love to see my dog in there. Dr. Straxon's in there. Yeah. Let me see who else is in there. Kenneth Rozier is in the house. Mary 305's in early.
What's up, cuz?
Love to see that. Love to see that. Folks on Facebook as well. We appreciate you guys tuning in. And like you said, we've got Rachel coming up. Just to kind of set the bio for who may not be familiar, Rachel is a senior from out of Atlanta, GA. She qualified for nationals by finishing 10th in the NCAA East prelims on her last jump. Now, remember, she's the triple jump champ, out of the SWAC, and the long jump champ, if I'm not mistaken. I got that right? Long jump and triple jump, or was it the high jump? Why am I not prepared for this? I know the triple jump was her main event. I had all this pulled up. I've got like tons of windows open right now, so I'm just being real transparent right now. But yeah, so she won the SWAC in those 2 individual meets. She qualified for nationals in the triple jump. She is the second female rattler since 2014. Nakia Linson in the long jump competed in the indoor nationals. But this is actually the second consecutive year that FAMU has had a rattler in the outdoor nationals. Last year, it was a male. Do you recall who was in it last year? I couldn't find who was in it last year.
Jalen Scott.
Jalen Scott. Okay, yeah, Mr. 400, right? He was in it last year, so this is the second year that we've sent. Just by one of the things that I was looking at, talking about the National Track and Field Championships, when it comes to HBCU athletes, of course, North Carolina A&T has the most. They've got 11 men, 3 women. On the men's side, Coppin has 1 athlete competing in 2 events. Prairie View has an athlete. On the women's side, Howard has 4 athletes. competing in 3 events. Of course, those 4 athletes are part of the, I think it's the 4x400 relay team. And then 2 of those young ladies qualified in some, I think the 100 and 200. And then we've got Rachel. So there's only, what's that, 5 schools, HBCUs represented. So yeah, it's a pretty big deal to have Rachel out there. What other thoughts you guys have from the weekend, or just maybe some just anything that you can quickly hit on before Rachel joins us? Kelvin, what do you got?
Well, the only thing, to get into the alumni convention and some of the athletic budget stuff, I think we got to dig into that. So I won't bring that up right now. I did notice that we have, I wanted to mention that we do have in football 2 TV games at the beginning of the year. And in the North Carolina game on the 27th starts at 8 p.m. It'll be on the ACC network. And then we have the Orange Blossom Classic the following week, September 4th at 3 p.m. and it's on ESPN2.
Yeah, a lot was. What do you make, Kofi? I know you guys probably hit on this when you and Offscript got together. A lot of fuss came up about the OBC being on ESPN2, which kind of surprised me because ESPN2 is practically on. I mean, the footprint of ESPN2 is very similar to ESPN. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Did you guys hit on anything when it came to talking about that, or what are your thoughts on that? I know we get into deeper.
Deion's philosophy is, any publicity basically is good publicity. So you want to continue to be a part of the conversation and let people know that you want to be a part of the conversation and that you want the name of Florida A&M University and Jackson State and other HBCUs at least to be legitimately considered at the table. The reality is having the game on a Sunday and playing at the same time that America's Grand Slam tournament, the U.S. Open, is going on, is not very.
Look like you got snapped.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll give him a second here to kind of dial back in. That was quick. While we wait on Rachel to get dialed in, what's your take on?
Can you hear me?
That? Oh, he's back. Oh, yeah, you're back. Go ahead, Kofi. Finish your thought.
Yeah, just really with that, I think that we need to continue to be a part of the conversation. It's not going to happen this year, but I can foresee within the next 3 to 5 years an HBCU game other than the Celebration Bowl on one of the major networks, which I think would be even bigger on an ABC, a CBS, or even a Fox or an NBC one of these days, provided that we continue to increase the value of our brand and continue to stay in the conversation. I think it's key, and that's one of the things that I know to be a fact, being that we've graduated so many journalism people that are now sitting as decision makers at the seats of major networks. I mean, we've got somebody over there with ABC News. That's huge. I don't know another HBCU that has that. We've had somebody at ESPN, which is how we literally ended up on game day. So having these decision makers, rattlers as decision makers behind the scenes in these major media networks, I think is a big deal. And I think that our time will soon come. We just got to continue to stay in the forefront and build a brand. Our time is coming.
All right, let's get ready. Our guest is in the house. I believe she is on the line, so just kind of texting, and there she is.
There she
is, the one and only Miss Rachel Robertson, live from Eugene, Oregon. Miss Rachel, first off, congratulations and welcome to the show. How you feeling this, I guess it's this afternoon where you're at. So how are you feeling this afternoon?
I feel pretty good. This jet lag is catching up to me a little bit. I feel good.
Yeah, so you we traded a few communications. You said you guys got into Eugene yesterday morning. Is that correct? Give us a kind of an itinerary of your travel over the last 48 hours.
So basically, we got tested for COVID at 7 a.m. and that was in Tallahassee. We drove to Jacksonville, Florida, and then from there we actually had a layover in Chicago, and then that's when we went from Chicago to Eugene. So from about 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. we were traveling.
Wow. Woo.
Yeah.
Is that is this the first time you've traveled that far west? I mean, you're from Atlanta. Is this the first time you traveled all the way out to the far northwest?
Yeah, this is the very first time I've been on the west side. I mean, this is all new to me.
Nice, nice.
What
Now, who's
side?
traveling with you? Who's part of the traveling party with you?
So basically, me is Coach Butler, Coach People's dinner, and then we have our media person, Joshua, and then
Okay.
It's an athletic and yeah, media person.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, it's good to know that technology, no matter where you're at, Tallahassee, Atlanta, Jacksonville, or Oregon, it acts funky sometimes on us all. So I mean, we got you. Kelvin, go ahead, jump in there, ask a question for Rachel while we got her.
So Rachel, I want you to talk about uh your season and how you think you progressed. You won the indoor, if I'm not mistaken, in 2 events also, and then you in the SWAC, and then I believe you won in the outdoor, and then you were able to qualify for NCAA nationals, right? So just talk about
Right.
your journey this season. How you feel about it?
So, I mean, of course, I'm very happy. I think that I peaked at a great time. I started off in December at our first where I was at last year. So, the fact that I to progress this far, pretty great. Um, so yeah, I am really really happy with my season, and I'm just happy to be here.
Go ahead, Kofi.
Well, thank you for representing. You like you ready for stardom and everything. And I'm excited for you. Thank you for representing Rattler Nation. I used to live in Atlanta, so Atlanta's producing a lot of track and field is really big up there. So, what is our presence like recruitment wise in the ATL? Like, can we get some more of you to come on down here to the Heights of Seven Hills, or what's it looking like? Because I know our presence is big. Like, what's up?
Of course. I mean, my region when I was in high school was, I mean, they were producing athletes. So I'm not sure what it's looking like now. I hope that we can have more people coming from Georgia to Florida. That'd be great. Hopefully, I inspire people in high school to come on down.
Awesome.
Does
go.
your old high school? Let's see. Your high school or any of your old coaches are they? I'm sure they've been following your progress. What's sort of the reaction or the feedback, or what are you hearing from the people back home?
Everybody's so excited. I mean, my coach, our sprint coach in high school, he actually went to FAMU. He's very excited. My jumps coach in high school, he's very proud of me. And I know my teammates from back in high school, they're very, very happy for me. I think everybody is a little bit, maybe just a little surprised that this is my first year ever making it. So I know everybody's happy for me and proud of me, and yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty good reaction. So yeah, I'm loving all the support and all the love from everyone.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, there wasn't a full season last year, right? So the 20 is that correct? You didn't have a full season to compete, correct?
Right. I know our outdoor season, we did not compete in conference.
Okay.
And then I don't think we had an indoor season.
Okay. So do you feel so you sort of been able to kind of work past last season? You feel like you kind of, I imagine the difficulty of not being able to compete fully last year. Now, do you feel like you're back on pace to where you kind of expected to be last year right now?
Um, I've actually never thought about that. I would say, yeah, I am. I'm definitely glad I didn't digress. I'm happy I kept progressing, and yeah, I feel like I'm definitely where I'm supposed to be. So yeah.
How many years do you have left of eligibility? I mean, I know there's COVID I can't ever tell anymore because of the COVID year. I don't know how it works in track. How many years of eligibility do you have left? This isn't the last run for you, is it?
No, I have one more year.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just have one more year. Yeah.
All right. So
Let's go.
this feels like this is a good setup. I mean, obviously we want you to medal this year, but it feels like this is that great setup for the big future next year even. Tell us about your practice routine and schedule. I know you talked about the jet lag. You're still probably getting used to the time. What's your practice schedule and routine like right now to get ready? Because you don't jump until Saturday. So you got like three full days to kind of get your body and your time clock right.
Right. So, of course, we just got here yesterday. So today we did go and do run throughs on the track. Tomorrow I'm not supposed to be doing anything. It's just a rest day. Friday we're gonna just do a warm up, and then Saturday I compete. So we're just trying to keep it super light, so I could be really bouncy and not heavy on Saturday.
Go ahead, Kelvin, Kofi, jump in there with any final questions for Rachel.
I got two questions for you. Question number one: what do you expect? What is your target? What do you hope to accomplish at the nationals? And then second, from a student athlete, I'm always interested to know uh, what kind of support. What do you think we as a university can do better to help make the experience better?
Okay. Well, my goal for nationals is to PR to have best. I want to make it to finals. That's my biggest goal. Is to make it and go on through the finals. To do that, I would have to jump a personal all-time season best, personal best, and I would say to improve on our program. I would say I think that having a consistent staff is very important. I know well, since I've been here, it's pretty much been door, honestly. So just having consistent staff that really affects the team, and just being organized. I know there were some meets that we couldn't go to, or there was one meet that we couldn't go to where we didn't have per diem. Something as small as that is very unfortunate. So just stuff like that. I mean, all of that really affects us emotionally and physically. So yeah, I think that's important. Of course, like we're all gonna get through it. We've all gotten through it. I've gotten through it, and it only makes us stronger. But it would be nice.
No, thank you for your honesty. We that's what we want to hear because we want to be better. Yeah, thank you.
That's good.
Kofi, what do you got? You got anything final for Rachel?
Woo. The last statement touched me deep. So Yeah. I'm going to go in a different route so we can stay on target and stay on time. I'll talk about that later. How would you compare? You've run in the MEAC and the SWAC. How would you compare the two conferences?
I would say, so I didn't get to compete in the last conference, but that conference wasn't as competitive. I would say SWAC, there's more competition. People are really competing, like really pushing the other teams. Like I really had to, still, it wasn't, I should say, high jump and triple jump. There were definitely some really good competitors. I really like that. And I don't know, I just like seeing different HBCUs. I mean, there's some HBCUs in SWAC that weren't in MEAC, so that's very nice. I got to go to Texas for the first time. I never had that the past 3 years, so just different scenery. Never had a meet in Georgia. That was the first time this year, and finally my whole family got to see me compete. So it's just so funny to me, like I've been competing all 4 years, and finally get a meet in Georgia, and now they were able to come and see me. So that's very nice. Um, so yeah, I really like SWAC.
Let's
All
go.
right. Well, you are the everyone's chasing you going into next year in SWAC because you are the queen of the jumps. So I mean, they're all trying to catch you next year, which we know is going to be hard, practically impossible. So, but that's just so look, hey, we want to wish you first off, thank you for sticking with Florida A&M and Florida A&M track and field and athletics. I know you went like you just described. I mean, it hadn't been easy, but brighter days are ahead. Rattler Nation is behind you. We're praying for you. We're rooting you on. We got you. We're holding you down in prayer and love over the next 48, 72 hours. And then on Saturday, you're just going to explode. You already said it. You're going to hit your best. I got a feeling. You're going to hit your personal best, and you might even do better than what you thought. So you enjoy your time up in Oregon, and we're going to be holding it down. And when you come back, Rattler Nation, you folks in Tallahassee, you make sure you show Rachel some love. Make sure you show her some love when she gets back in town. Rachel, let people know how they can find you and follow you. We're going to have to talk about your YouTube. You got a beautiful thing going on YouTube. We have to talk about that on another show. But let people know how they can reach you and support you and wish you well.
Okay, well, my Instagram is r.ae_. You can find my TikTok at. You said that's a child's name?
Say that again.
Yeah. No. You're fine.
Oh, okay.
I was texting my daughter.
TikTok.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, my TikTok is Princess Ray with 2 P's. My YouTube is just Ray. My Twitter, I don't really post that much, but it's Rachel, the number 2 tall. And yeah, that's it.
And give me your Instagram again so I can make sure to get that out.
My Instagram is r_, like r.ae_.
AE_. All right. You got a lot going on there. I love it. And that just and go check the YouTube out, folks. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Look at her profile. Some good stuff there going on. She got a lot going on, and that's good. So Rachel, again, thank you for taking time out. Congratulations to you and everybody who's in Eugene. You guys be safe up there. Have fun. Enjoy the experience, and we look forward to Saturday. We look forward to Saturday. All right. All right. Thank you again. Rachel Robertson, ladies and gentlemen, competing in on Saturday. Let me see. She gave me the exact time that she is jumping. I have it on here somewhere in the email. I think it's 5 p.m. Yes, Saturday, 5 p.m. That's when she is jumping. So, all right, let's take a break because on the other side, we've got Coach Robert McCullum joining us, and we'll talk a little hoops with the head ball coach in just a moment. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone. We'll be back.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
For my people that don't get to see me, trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching say, make this for my people that don't get to see me. Trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teachings. Hey, 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 hey. Motivation.
It's been difficult because I hadn't been able to see my grandchildren.
An expression on someone's face when you do something nice for them.
I miss all my friends in school.
Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision about COVID-19 vaccine.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, Kofi. It's basketball season. NBA Finals. Game 3 are happening right now. So we just had to bring on our ball coach to help us break down Game 3. No, not entirely. It's Coach Robert McCullum joining the O&G. Coach, welcome back to the O&G. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Glad to be with you all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, hey, since we do have you, and it is NBA Finals, give us a quick analysis of what we've seen from games 1 and 2. And the big question is, how many games do you think this series is going? I won't ask you Boston or Golden State. How many games do you see this series going?
I see it going 7 games. And what you saw in game 1 and game 2, from my perspective, and what you'll continue to see, you saw the impact of the 3-point shot. And a frequent phrase you hear used by NBA players, coaches, front office personnel is it's a make or miss league. And that's about what it comes down to. Boston came out game one and just shot the lights out, particularly in the second half. And Golden State made some adjustments. In addition to the three-point shooting, another aspect that I'm looking to see is Boston's pick and roll ball screen defense. And you just can't throw just one defended one way. You got to continue to give the Warriors different looks. But there's one approach they take ain't gonna work, having the big drop back so far and give Steph Curry what I call driveway shots. That was not gonna work. So this ball screen coverage, that's another area that's going to be interesting. I would like to see Boston attack the basket more, so that they'll have more balance with their offense. As good of a defender as Draymond Green is, Kevin Looney is an outstanding defender. That said, neither one of them are rim protectors. So you look at the athleticism that Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, their athleticism, the ability to get in the paint, I would like to see them attack the rim more. And now Boston, the Warriors got to do a much better job of closing out. And if they're making threes and attacking the basket, I think it just makes them a whole lot more difficult to defend. From the Warriors standpoint, it may not sound significant, but it's going to be interesting to see Draymond's temperament. And I say that from the standpoint, he plays with an edge. If he's on your team, you love him. If he's an opponent, you hate him. But one more attack, one more dismissal, he has to miss a game. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Boston didn't come out and try to bait him, because he's such an impactful player, such an integral part of their team. And oftentimes what you see, they run their offense through him. He's just an outstanding passer. So those are just some things that I'll be looking for tonight.
All right. Great breakdown. Coach said 7 games. That's good. I'm hoping we get 7. I think this will be an interesting, fun series to kind of watch. So all right. So a lot of things happening in the off season. It's the summer season for you. I know the live period is coming up in a couple of weeks, but you're sort of transitioning from last year's team to getting ready for the new team. And of course, the big news that we were all kind of wondering was whether we would have MJ back. And he got the invite to the G League Elite. I saw you and the other coaches were there. And I guess based off of that, MJ decided on the last day to stay in the draft. So we pretty much under the assumption that he will not be back next year. Talk about what you saw at the G League Elite and maybe what you heard from other scouts about him. What does his future look like from the people that you've talked to, or what you saw out there, the competition he went against?
I think it's safe to say that MJ Randolph made his decision independent of his performance in Chicago. Or to put that another way, I think what he looked at was, I think he weighed the pros and cons of coming back versus staying out. So when MJ initially came to me shortly after the season was over and said he wanted to explore, he wanted to have an opportunity to work out with NBA teams. Well, as a college player with eligibility remaining, the only way you can do that is by putting your name in the draft. And so I very quickly, I embraced his intention, what he wanted to do. I thought it was the right thing to do. So I reached out to the NBA office, and he filled out the paperwork. And so it just so happened this was a Thursday, which meant by the next Thursday, by the fact that he got the information, his request in, his paperwork in that particular day, he'd have a response. So in a week's time, the NBA send out feelers to all 30 teams, and they give you an indication of where he's going to be. So he came back, he wouldn't be drafted. So, which is kind of what I expected. So then we went to work to try and get him involved.
Uh-oh. Coach got sniped. Hold on, we'll give him a few for a second here. And as we wait for Coach to jump back in, I know he'll probably have to log back in here in a second. So appreciate you guys bearing with us here as we wait for Coach to rejoin us here. Interesting. So just to remind people, MJ was one of 44 players invited to the NBA G League Elite Camp. Of course, MJ boxed a row, first team All-American, all NABC District 22 first team, all SWAC first team, SWAC Player of the Year. All right, Coach McCullum's back. Okay, got you, Coach. Go ahead and finish with where you were saying about MJ's journey.
So we called around to some teams, asking them to support him being invited to the camp. So we were successful with that. And so he went through the process. He played the workouts, the testing for 2 days. The first day he did not play particularly well at all. The second day, Tuesday, he played much better, but yet he did not leave Chicago, having enhanced his standing or raised where he would fall in terms of his opportunities to get drafted. So MJ weighed, okay, if I come back another year, there are no guarantees that I get drafted either.
True.
And so I had to say, well, you are right. But that said, I felt he still would benefit greatly. His name, he'd have more exposure, more name familiarity from NBA people. I just thought the advantages would have been more favorable had he chosen to come back for another year. And apparently his agent and his family thought otherwise. So simply put, we're at a point where we wish him the best, hope things work out for him, because once he made that decision on June 1st, that decision is final.
Yeah.
Okay.
But before we jump, Kelvin, over to you.
Let me mention one more thing too.
Sure.
After the camp in Chicago, the NBA does another rating after that, and so his rating from the NBA after Chicago was identical to what it was prior to him going to Chicago.
Right. I was going to ask, one of the discussions that always comes up when you look at that long list of players who enter their name, and then you think about there's only 60 that get drafted. I want to, if I have that right, because there's only 2 rounds, 30 teams, 60 players. Would you be in favor of the NCAA or NBA allowing those players who wanted to make that opportunity a chance to come back? Because like you said, it's pretty much now sealed where he doesn't have the opportunity to come back. Would you be in favor of that? Just speaking broadly, you don't have to get specific, but just on a broad level. Because I know that gets talked about a lot.
Yeah, I understand. It could be kind of complicated. I think most college coaches, and I'm included in that group, are fine with the system. So what the NCAA tweaked, they tweaked the dates. That was the difficult part of that. So in other words, there's a certain date by which you have to have your name entered, and there's a certain date you have to say, okay, stay or leave. So what happens? Okay, let's go along with say the suggestion or the premise that I think you are making. Okay, that would favor the player, but what about the college team, the college program? So as a college coach, you've got to be able to prepare. You've got to be able to move on. You want to be able to know, okay, is he going to come back? We got to be able to have time to go out and recruit another player, or in some cases, some teams may have more than one player. So when you look at the other side of it, I think it's good the way that it is. But another thing I'll add, just like college, recruiting, drafting, NBA, NFL, it's not an exact science.
Right.
For example, what almost 40%, 35-40% of the players in the NFL are never drafted, go undrafted. So you have 7 rounds in the NFL, and the percentage of players that make it being undrafted is pretty high. So in the NBA, that's around 14-15% of the players. And so with the G League now, there's no guarantee you're going to make a G League team. And it's a little complicated. So what's been added, you may have people familiar with a term called a two-way player. There's 2 big changes in the last couple of years. One's called a two-way player, and the other one is an Exhibit 10. And the quick version of that is both of those players to fall, if to fortunate enough to fall into either one of those categories, that they work through an NBA team. So an NBA team has to have that degree of interest in you to put you in that status. What that does, that enables you to make far more money than a normal G League player would make. This past season, G League salaries were $37,500. They're projected to go up to $40,000 the upcoming season. In the only exceptions, if you're a two-way player, which guarantees you're going to be up with the NBA team X number of games, or if you're an Exhibit 10, those are the 2 ways that you can make far more money than the average G League salary.
Gotcha. Jump in there, Kelvin. Go ahead.
Coach, I want to jump to I want you to kind of size up your returning team as of right now, both with who you got returning as well as players you lost in the transfer portal and players you got coming in that you recruited. And are you done recruiting? Just kind of tell us where your program is right now.
Well, from a name recognition standpoint, it's going to be pretty short in terms of the names I'll call of the returnees that anyone would recognize. Dominguez Stevens, he goes by Ming. He was a transfer from Seton Hall last year. His strength is his ability to shoot the 3. He didn't have a particularly outstanding season doing that, but yet he had some moments, namely the Prairie View game when he came in. I think he scored 12-14 points in a 10-minute stretch, including the 3 at the buzzer, 0.3 of a second to beat Prairie View. He had a couple of those, but so for the most part, we had, of course, we had 3 fifth-year seniors. DJ Jones, Bryce Moraine, Cameron Reeves, those were all grad students. We just talked about MJ Randolph. Jai Clark was a senior, as was Keith Littles. So those guys garnered the bulk of the minutes. Johnny Brown, right now, his status is up in the air. Jalen Spears, outstanding sophomore scorer from Gainesville. He won't be returning. So to move to the next part of your question, our team will be built primarily next year with incoming players. And so what you'll see for the most part from the incoming players is a strong influx of junior college players who we think in a lot of cases are very, very similar to what you would get from the transfer portal. The difference is the JUCO players have played against outstanding JUCO competition versus players in the transfer portal played against Division I competition. But yet we feel very, very good about even if MJ Randolph had come back, three or four of our starters would have been him and players from junior college. And one player I'll throw out, name some of our audience may be familiar with, Byron Smith. Byron played this past season at TCC. He played in high school at PK Young in Gainesville, and he signed with Southeastern Louisiana University out of high school, played there 2 years before transferring to TCC using his COVID year. So he'll have 2 years to play with us. He made the all-conference team in what is undoubtedly the toughest JUCO conference in the state and one of the toughest in the country. And so in the last 8 years, 3 of the national champions have come out of that league. And in Northwest won it again this year. So you make all conference in that league, you know that's impressive. And Byron did that. Byron's an outstanding two-way player. He'll play both guard positions. Really excited about him. And in the third part of your question, yes, we're still recruiting. We're active in the transfer portal. The portal has shrunk from over 1,700 names to over 700 names. So it's dwindling. Simply put, there's not enough room for all of the players. But so we're still in the transfer portal. We're looking for another big guard who can score the ball, as well as another frontline player. So we're still very optimistic in our recruiting efforts, because there's still very good quality players still in the portal. But because I said it's just not enough space for all of them. And to add to that, let's keep in mind there were a number of players there were 44 players who were in the G League elite camp. There were a few players who were in the NBA combine. Both groups, there were players who withdrew their name and went back to school. So what that did, that means some of those players in the portal, they lost opportunities, what could have been an opportunity, because players chose to go back to school. So we're still in the portal, still looking to add 1 or 2 more players. The difference is whomever we sign at this point, they will not be able to join us for a very important 6-week summer session, where they'll be in summer school and working out and those kinds of things. That's a very important time, but it's unfortunate. But yet, we think they'll have time to catch up, but they won't be joining us, as our players will return. New players and incoming players will come to campus for the first time next week for new student orientation, then the returnees at the end of next week for the second summer session, which starts June 20th.
Okay. All right. Kofi, what do you got for Coach?
Hey, Coach. Just wanted to say hello, first of all. And let me just ask, we're in the process of searching for a new AD. What would you like to see? I'm going to be nice. What would you like to see from our new AD in terms of who we're able to get? What are some of the things on your wish list from a new AD?
Thanks, Kofi. That's a great question. That's off the air. Kelvin and I, we'll be continuing that question. We'll that's a conversation that's going to go on for a while.
No, we need you to open up on the ONG.
Oh no, I'm going to open up, but Kelvin and I are going to finish that with some adult beverages. Let's
Let's
put
go.
that
I
out
need
there
to get
right
to
now.
Tallahassee. I need to get to Tallahassee.
That's right.
Let's put that out there
That's
right
right,
now.
Coach. Yes, yes. A beer summit.
I think Kevin, you need to tell him thanks for letting you get that question in, because you got to know he and I have already talked about that. That's I want a leader. I want someone that can lead. I think we need someone that can lead, someone that a good leader can bring people together. And when you have a good leader, you know it. A good leader, it's just like, to me, I hear people say sometimes, well, I got a great relationship with him. I have a great relationship with her. And I think people use that phrase too easily. If you got a great relationship with someone, then that person would do things for you that they don't want to do. A good leader will get you to follow him or her, although you may not want to. He or she can unite. They can bring you together. So we need that. We need someone can fundraise. Fundraising budget issues have been, are, and will be an issue at schools far more bigger than ours. So the ability to fundraise, not only on behalf of an athletic director, but you look all over the country, and what you see, you look in the last 10 years, and it's rare that you can see when a new president's hired at a Division I institution that the topic of fundraising is not going to come up. And proud to me coming on tonight, our triple jumper, Richardson, y'all interviewed her. She's out in Eugene, and I got to tell you that's I had the opportunity to attend the nationals in 15 and 16, and what an event! And the women's semifinals and finals are bigger and more popular than the men. But if you love track and field, you can't beat being that. But I bring that up just to talk about, for example, because I was there when Oregon's current president, was hired. And he came from, he was dean of the Chicago School of Law. But arguably his biggest trait is his ability to fundraise. And that's not an exception. So I think he or she need to be able to fundraise. I think that's huge. We just entering our second year in the conference, but yet he or she have got to stay up to date on conference realignments. It's not over. When I say it's not over, let's not say I said the SWAC is getting ready to add somebody. I didn't say that. But I would not be at all surprised if in 2 or 3 years, if the SWAC doesn't grow. Because if you see things happening at the Power 5 level, then it's going to happen at the smaller conference levels as well. So I think he or she, they have that has to be a topic of discussion very, very early. The NIL, name, image, and likeness. Courtney Gaucher and his staff, and our compliance director, Contrell Kerner, who just left just a few weeks ago. I mean, they're doing everything they could to, one, enlighten themselves as other leaders around the country are doing, while at the same time being able to just answer the questions from student athletes and parents. And so less than a year, we've gone from that introductory stage all over the country to it's already out of control. And so name, image, and likeness has to be. So this is how far we've come. Not only from a university just hiring someone, athletic departments, you have coaching staffs, individual coaching staffs having to talk about, gosh, we need to hire somebody who can deal with name, image, and likeness. You got the transfer portal. There's been a few situations where one thing I want to share with you all, one of the things to come out of the legislation for the transfer portal is it allows for one-time transfer only. It's supposed to cut back on opportunities for a student athlete to be able to transfer a second time via a waiver. So the waivers are supposed to go away, be diminished. So there's been a few situations where student athletes are transferred a second time. That wasn't supposed to be. So you still got issues from the transfer portal. Another topic I think is worth talking about is you can award money for academic performance. Yes. And from my perspective, that may be the most realistic option to really improve and enhance the student athlete experience at FAMU. Now, there's another one that we haven't done. It's been around now for 7-8 years. It's called cost of attendance. For bigger schools, when I say bigger schools, even schools at the level of Troy State, Troy is doing that. So if Troy is doing it, bigger schools obviously are doing it. So whatever it costs a student for transportation to get back and forth to school, whatever kind of gear, supplies, winter coats, all that stuff. It's called cost of attendance. We can't afford to do that. But let's go back to the Austin case, which Ed O'Bannon, who played for UCLA's last national championship in '95, did this huge lawsuit that they filed and won. What down in that small print at that time was you can award student athletes for academic success. So you can award a student athlete for up to $5,960 per student athlete. Each university, each athletic department gets to set the standards. So if you want the standard to be a 3.0, you want it to be a 3.3 or 3.5, you set it. So I'm not saying all of our students could get that almost a little under $6,000, but can we come up with enough support to where they can get $1,000? They can get $1,500. That would go a long way. And because where we are right now, I don't know exactly all what they're doing, but here's what I can tell you. You all know this. You follow sports. You follow college sports. Jackson State is making waves.
Yes. We're going to talk about that, Coach.
Jackson State is making waves.
Yeah. Yes.
And to keep up, we got to find a way to make waves. And you make waves, money enables you to make waves.
Yes, sir.
And so, we reaching out to a kid, to a prospect, let's say from the transfer portal, invariably they're going to ask about cost of attendance, especially if they're at a school where they're already getting cost of attendance. They're going to ask about NIL. And so we're facing some challenging times. So these are issues that's going to be at the forefront on that ED's that he or she they on the radar.
Right.
And so each university has its own issues, its own politics that it has to deal with. And so Kelvin was a longtime employee at FAMU, so he understands that aspect of it. His last years was spent as an administrator, so he sat in those meetings. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. He's a grad. He's an alum. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. So being able to find out how you can maneuver, what you have to do to find success, to get things done over here, get things done over there. So those are all issues that the new AD will have to be able to be successful with, as well as the normal issues of head coaches maintaining, having to retain head coaches, maybe retain assistant coaches, and last but not least, fill vacancies. We have conferences, schools in our conference have made offers to our sports information. Now we have an outstanding sports information director, as we've had several times during my tenure here, but they didn't stay very long. If they're very good, what you want them to be, somebody's going to offer more money. That's the situation we're facing right now with our sports information director. We just lost our compliance director. You can't have a successful athletic department when you can't retain quality people.
Right.
And so again, this new person, they're going to earn their money. I can tell you that they're going to earn their money. And their first year is going to be extremely challenging because of these issues that I'm talking about. And the last thing I'll say, and Kevin knows a lot about this as well, there's some schools you have to answer to this X number of constituents. And so we know here one of our very successful constituents is our National Alumni Group. That's a very influential group, and of course, they just concluded their annual convention here in town last weekend. Another successful convention, but that group has a strong voice. So again, those are just some of the. I hope I've answered your question, Kofi. I didn't mean to be so long, but it's difficult to answer that question. I think without,
that's right.
Just
no, Coach.
I've
been knowing you for some time. I already know once you get going, it's gonna be hard for you to kind of like bridge one little thing in or a couple of sentences. So it's all good.
I appreciate that. Go ahead. I appreciate that, but again, it's really compound. It's compound. It's complex.
It is.
Yeah. And so it's. I just hope that they hire the right person and get them here in a hurry. Get them in here before you know it. The fall sports season will be here. So hopefully, they can get them on board and get them up and going.
So first of all, Coach, hold on, Kobe. First of all, Coach,
all right.
You set us up very nicely for our next segment because we're gonna touch on all that. So we appreciate that. The last thing I'm gonna say before I let Kobe jump back in is, sound like we need to hire Jesus Christ.
Well, one of the disciples.
Jesus, keep me near on the cross. All right. So Coach, you already stated, Coach, a couple of things that were on your wish list, in terms of making sure that your staff is properly compensated. We're able to retain and let's say obtain, keep quality staff members around. What else is on your personal wish list? I know we need money. We need money for recruiting. We need money for basically everything. But I remember you saying the importance. I want you to speak to the importance of trainers, getting additional trainers, getting additional compliance staff, getting all of those things that help not only the infrastructure, but they ensure the total overall success of the program.
At your practice facility.
Yes, some of those issues you bring up, Kofi, not only are they important, some of them are necessities. And so when you are lacking in those areas, you're putting the health and welfare of the student athletes in jeopardy, and we never want to do that. But that's what happens. But a lot of those same support areas that you allude to, those were reasons, some of the primary reasons that we're still on probation. Okay, when you lack quality and quantity staff. Now, one of the things that's happened, and we had this solved before Kelvin left, we had several people in our compliance department. It was really, really important. You look up, they would lose one, you know, to a MEAC school. Lost two of them to a MEAC school, and then it put us back down to one. Okay, and so another area that we lacked terribly in was in terms of trainers. Kelvin, I'm not going to bring up Kelvin. Kelvin, one of the things I like what Kelvin did, and since Kelvin left, is continued for a sport administrator to travel with you. So I could go back and tell the AD one thing, but when you got a sport administrator traveling and he sees the same thing, that's going to register differently. And so Kelvin was with us on a long trip where we had to ask the host team to tape our players' ankles. Okay, that situation fortunately has been solved. We have as big of a training staff as FAMU's had in quite some time, certainly during my tenure. I'm going into my 6th year. And so the training staff this past academic athletic season was outstanding. And hopefully they can continue in that respect. From a personal standpoint, a wish list, you know, like a lot of places, you know, I like for my staff to be better paid, but another issue is a bigger issue is nutrition, meals and nutrition. So let's be clear. You're allowed to provide more than 3 meals a day. You can provide 4 meals, and snacks. That's nothing new. We haven't done that as a department because we don't have the funds. Now we've really improved our snack bar, our nutrition bar, that part of it. But yet overall, that's an area through fundraising we're going to try as a men's basketball. We're going to try to provide an additional meal 3 days a week this upcoming season, because we can't, it's not realistic to expect them to build and maintain strength and body weight when they're not eating properly.
Right.
And
so
three meals a day is not going to cut that.
Right.
And so, and
Coach,
then
we got a couple of people that are on the line, you know, because, you know, Rattler Nation, nobody talks more game than Rattler Nation. So when it comes to stuff like that, what is a number that we would have, say, that we would need to, or that you would look at to do what you're talking about doing? What would you think the overall number would be? What are we looking at?
It's difficult to say.
200.
Go ahead, repeat that.
How much are we looking at? What's the bottom line number for, let's say, your nutrition needs at this particular time? When you're talking about supplying an additional meal, taking care of the training table, that sort of thing, what kind of number are we looking at?
I'm just talking about for us during the season. I'm talking, another $4 or $5 grand. That's what I'm talking about, and I'm not talking about being able to do that every day. Now let me back up here a little bit. A couple of years ago, prior to COVID, the department did a great job with the help of the National Alumni Association. I believe in giving credit where credit's due. With the help of the National Alumni Association, under the leadership of Colonel Greg Clark, as well as the 220 Quarterback Club. They've always been a constant, big supporter. So for about a year and a half, we had enough muscle milk to supply all what we got 14 sports, and that was outstanding. And so I would like to, as a department, that we could be able to get back to that point. That has to be the norm. It can't be the exception.
Right.
And so we have those issues. The number one question.
They got him again.
They got him. Coach was running long on that one. Heck of man. Once again, this is we'll just we talked about educating you guys watching. Second coach in a row, second consecutive week. You're hearing what our coaches need. We're not just rolling our coaches up before everybody like show ponies to say, oh, here's our head coach that coaches this sport. Here's our coach that real stuff, real talk. Coach last week, Coach Shute. This week's Coach McCullum. They're telling you what they need.
Okay.
Why are we the one? Go ahead, Coach. Sorry.
He's back.
Okay.
I'm filling time. Go ahead, Coach.
Okay. So the number one question I get is, Coach, how often can we get in the gym and work on our game? So that's a big area. It's been, quite frankly, a big disappointment that we haven't been able to adequately, sufficiently address that. And there were,
you guys don't have 24/7
with the
access,
help
Coach?
of
was that on me? Was that on me? They don't have 24/7 access, Kelvin. Are you kidding me?
No, they do not. No, we're not kidding.
Oh, Jesus.
It's a shared facility. And see, the thing is,
go ahead.
But but there's some internal things that belongs to the education department. They restricted because of classes during the daytime, during the nighttime. They got to be supervised. It's always, which is why I thought, that's why we redid Gaither Gym though, to give them another option. Yes. But when they redid Gaither Gym, unfortunately, they made it great for volleyball, but they forgot about basketball in that process. So it doesn't have all the lines and so forth, the official court that it did prior to them doing that renovation. But I hope that, and I think they'll try to correct that.
Go ahead, Coach. You were just talking about having access.
No. He's freezing up. That iPhone is freezing up on him now.
All right. Yeah. We may have to.
He's there.
Oh, there he is.
There you go.
All right, there you go.
Okay.
We got you. All right. You were telling us. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead,
So unfortunately, we haven't been able to have the use of Gaither Gymnasium as we anticipated, as we were told. That was the number one priority when I was hired. And so that part's been really disappointing. And so, right now we're just sort of, it's simply put, with the new leadership, our current interim AD, Mike Smith, we've addressed it with him. He's trying to work on our behalf, and so we'll find out here in about 10 days. What progress we've made. Now the Lawson Center, the floor is being redone. Something that needed to be, it's overdue.
Yep.
So that you can maintain the quality for a building that's 10, 11 years old. It was long needed. So, but that we won't have access to that floor for another 3 or 4 weeks. But once it's done, it'll be great, and we won't have to worry about that for another 5, 6, 7 years.
So Tennessee State just got a new practice facility and everything for their men's and women's programs. Is that something that's also on your wish list, to have a basketball only facility?
I mean, that, quite frankly, of course, who would not want that? And I can't comment on what Tennessee State has, because let's play the devil's advocate here. What we're talking about in terms of the Gaither, if you had asked me a year and a half ago, I would have said we have one too, and and I would have been telling the truth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could say you have your own practice. You could, let's say if another university has a situation like the old FAMU High, you all know what I'm talking about. I was told, had they renovated that place, okay, let's say, okay, we renovate that. I can say, okay, we got a practice place too. So I can't really comment on that one in particular, but of course we love to have that. You got to have a place. That is, if you want a quality program, if you want to be able to compete with the other schools that you're trying to compete against. And right now, Texas Southern is they're the cream of the crop in our league.
Yep. Coach, we want to get you out of here before halftime, because you said the last two quarters are the important quarters.
We're good. We're good.
So
we're good.
Two things here, real quick. One, I want you to talk about your camps coming up, and then maybe if you want to add this question in beforehand, interest about your non-conference schedule. Are there any dates that you're still trying to fill? Are there any opportunities to maybe schedule a UCF the weekend of the Florida Classic, or are you looking at scheduling Tampa? Can any details or anything you can share about the open dates or dates about the non-conference schedule, and then let people know about your camps as well?
Okay, unfortunately, because the situation with the Lawson Center not being available, we're not going to have camps. We're going to try and do a one-day elite camp. I think that would be August 5th. And so that would be the only opportunity that we would have. We were hopeful prior to COVID that we could start off with the team camp. I had interest in doing a father-child or parent-child camp, a concept I'm a big believer in. I thought it would have gone over big here, as well as team camps and a day camp, but we haven't been able to have that come to fruition yet. Scheduling, we're very close to finishing the schedule. I'll just throw out, I don't see, in theory, it sounds great. I know you all used to do it a number of years ago, but being able to play a UCF prior to the Classic, it's a possibility down the road, but I don't see that happening right now. We've had conversations with them about playing a game. It would be a guaranteed game unless they return the game to us. And quite frankly, what they offer for a guaranteed game, they don't offer enough, plain and simple.
Gotcha.
So, what I will tell you, we are signed to play the University of Florida late the end of November. But playing at Miami again. So those will be the only two in-state opponents we'll play. We're trying to see if we could possibly play Edward Waters early in the season. We're going to add Albany State. But aside from that, it's the guarantee games. That's another thing I would hope that not just for me, but the FAMU basketball program needs to get to a point where we don't have to play so many guarantee games. It's practically impossible to have an overall winning record when we are asked to bring in more money in guarantee games. The only school in the league has to bring in more money is Mississippi Valley. And with all due respect, we don't need to be compared to Mississippi Valley. I mean, I don't want to put shade on Mississippi
We got
Valley.
you.
You all know where I'm coming.
We got you. We got you.
It is what it is, Coach.
And so we have to play too many guarantee games. And we're playing more guarantee games than any of my predecessors. These are facts. You don't have to take my word. Go back and look it up. And so it gets to be, almost unfair. Now, I love playing competition. Our players, they like playing big schools. But again, we shouldn't have to play as many in a given year. And so those are areas that would really help our basketball program. I'm optimistic about. As I shared with you all last time I was on, I feel good about what we did our first year in the SWAC. I'm optimistic about the future, and aside from all of the players that we lost, we're going to show up. Okay, rest assured, we're gonna show up, and we still gonna add one or two outstanding pieces, and I look forward to the 22-23 season.
For sure.
Well said.
So am I.
Well said, Coach. We appreciate you. I got to find my way to Tallahassee. If that's this weekend, Kelvin, you just need to call me, let me know, so I can be there. When you and Coach get together, I can be there. Just tell me. Just tell me when.
Hey, the way you started off the show today, man, you might need bourbon, man. You might have to go to the whiskey bar.
Tell me where it is. Tell me where it is.
Hey, Kevin. Well, at least if we get one of the disciples to come.
Coach, you gotta go. Coach McCullum, we appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for your
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you for your honesty, your transparency, and everything you do and have done. And we are going to continue to remind people, educate people, let people know what you and all of our coaches need, because I don't think they're hearing it. And so we just got to keep reminding. And so it's great when you and our other coaches come on and actually confirm what we already know and been telling people. And so now, hopefully, more and more alums, the people in the chat rooms, they're seeing it. They know. And so the movement is afoot, Coach. We're trying to make it happen here. All right. So,
hey guys, thanks so much. I really appreciate your support. I love being on the show. And so look forward to doing it again.
Yes, sir.
All right.
7 game series. That's what Coach said. All right. So, wow, that was quick. Okay. Hey, again, appreciate Coach McCullum. Let's take a break. Let's catch our collective breaths and figure out where we go for the last half hour of the show. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Let's get back to getting ticks instead of watching flicks. Before we can safely get out there, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your crew.
This is Ryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Are you ready? It's It's time. The inaugural Urban NerdCon is coming to Montgomery, Alabama, July 29th through the 31st. Blurs, nerds, and geeks from across the universe will converge on the capital city to see celebrity guests such as The Last Dragon, Tybok, Megan Tandy, and voice actor Dave Fennoy.
Hey, how you doing? I'm voice actor Dave Fennoy with a shout out to all my geeks, freaks, and urban nerds. Just want to let you know I'm going to be there and I want to meet you at the Urban NerdCon Gaming and Cosplay event. It's happening July 29th through the 31st in Montgomery, Alabama. Hope you want to meet me as much as I want to meet you.
So join us by visiting theurbannerdcon.net for ticket and vendor information. This will be the premier Blurred event in the universe. Theurbannerdcon.net. Our heroes, our villains, our stories, everyone's con. See you there.
Whether it's advice on managing your anxiety or tools to help you stay grounded, Coping-19 provides a range of resources and self-care tips to help you cope with this pandemic. We can help. Find the resources that work best for you at coping-19.org.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em! It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm. Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, Kofi, appreciate Coach Robert McCullum joining us. Rachel Robertson a little bit earlier in front of him. Dr. Lori said, I need a drink. Yeah, I need one too. I almost went and got something other than this tea. Second week in a row, we've been educated by a FAMU coach what their situation looks like. Hell, we just had a student athlete tell you. And I'll say what I just said off air to you, Kelvin. I'll say it out here on wax. And this relates to what we had this past weekend with the National Alumni Association in town. It's disgusting that our student athletes in sports, the quote unquote front door to the university,
Window.
gets used, front door, window, gets used on days like, I think back to homecoming. Those of you who went to homecoming, and as crazy as homecoming was during that game, during the commercial, or during the breaks in between quarters or timeouts, all those checks, all those pledges, all those scholarship dollars that went in to whomever. I don't even know who gets that money, where that money goes. We had a surplus. We raised our biggest fundraising year, according to the article I read last week, right? 23 million. So that was 12 million over what they budgeted for, right? Now, I know there's certain earmarks and there are things that have to go to X, Y, and Z, and people make gifts and they want it to go to this and they want it to go to that. But how long are we going to continue to use? We're going to use athletics as the front door and window. We're going to use our student athletes and our coaches. And at the same time, we can't even give them some doggone per diem when they go on a trip. You just heard it from our track athletes. Our coaches are cutting the grass because our facilities are horrible. Our coaches can't even get into the gym 24/7. But we're going to use athletics as the window and front step to raise money. When are we going to raise the money to make the athletic facilities better? When? Oh, but we're just going to keep using it. Everyone wants to go to the game and floss and look great and tailgate. And you want to get on message boards and complain about Jackson State and whomever else. Who's going to step up and consistently drop the money? Kofi, you asked the question about Tennessee State. They had an alumni drop $1 million on the table. That's why they got an indoor facility. Dropped a cool meal. They say we got those kind of alums. I don't know where they at. I don't know. Just saying. So I just want to put that out. So as we get ready to transition, and sure we want to talk about this past week. That's what I'm disgusted about. Y'all told me you had they said there was going to be a vote of no confidence at that meeting. The General Assembly meeting. It was on the agenda. Got shut down. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not even going to say who and why. Just got shut down.
Go on and say it. I mean, we need to say it. Say it.
I don't have to say it because there were people in that room who wanted to say, the general call never came up, got skipped. Great. We heard about all the 7 regions and everybody else, and every meeting went long. So hell, that's probably the excuse they gave. You had the grand ball. Everybody got dressed up and looked nice and pretty. Did anybody drop $3 million to improve the baseball facilities while we were celebrating and popping bottles and looking good and taking pictures on the yard this past week? Did anybody drop $2 to $3 million to improve our facilities in our dilapidated baseball park, which is probably worse than some middle school fields in Tallahassee? Did anybody do that? Nope. Man, go ahead. What do you got, Kelvin? I'm gonna get off my box before I go. I may go get pour me a glass now while y'all talk. Go ahead.
I'm gonna be short. I'm gonna be short because I want COVID. I'm gonna let COVID do his thing. But what I would say is this: I really I had a lot of things going on. I think Tony Mallett asked me, "Is the AC got fixed?" Yeah, the AC got fixed, but I had a couple of appliances that went out too. So I had to replace those, and got a busy schedule and family and everything. So I didn't know if I was going to be able to attend the convention like I wanted to. But my household was well represented because my wife was a delegate and she went to everything. However, I did get quite a few calls and have several good friends and so forth who are chapter presidents and active in the regions and so forth who wanted to see me. So I was able to get up Saturday morning and go to the breakfast later on, and I supported the vendors while I was there. I recruited someone to join the association. I let him talk about it. And then I did a little modest contribution to the summer athletics fund, and I'll be doing another modest little hit here and there until the end of the month, right? But it was good to see folks and everything. There was no drama, but my my comment is that nothing was addressed, right? We met, we saw each other. Some funds were raised. Now, I think when I left, I think the number was around 320 some $1,000 had been raised, and that's for everything, not just for athletics, of course, scholarships and everything. We had federal judges in the house and the law school dean, we had some heavy hitters in the house, uh, but athletics had a chance. They had an audience. They had a chance. They did tour the field house Saturday and so forth. But I always say, y'all guys hear me say it all the time. We love the show. All right, we want to be on a mic and looking our best and give our $100, $500 publicly and all that good stuff. What this budget situation is for athletics, though, is a lot of work, right? Again, I don't want people to be discouraged and everything. That's why we hit on this budget so much, though. When you hear me talking about, $85, $95, $100, ain't gonna cut it, and minimum 13, 14. The things that the coaches are talking about are important. And let me just add one situation that I think will really bring this point home. Coach mentioned about a vacant compliant position. I think we have a vacant track position right now also, as well as an interim AD. And we got summer school coming with athletes trying to come in to our program. Well, we can't adequately bring people on to fill some of those support positions because when those coaches and those administrators leave, there's a payout that they're doing with leave and so forth, and it could be a significant payout. And there's no other fund or budget to pay that out. So typically, what the university does is over several months or pay periods, take it out of the budget of the existing position until it's paid off, which means you can't hire nobody in that position until that is cleared. Well, the problem with that is the summer. Like I said, kids coming back next week, and so you need a compliance director, right? There's a lot of paperwork that has to be done. Your fall sports are your biggest sports in terms of number of athletes and so forth, right? And volleyball starts in August, right? So not having a proper budget to start off with, not a 9.5 million budget, but a $12 million budget minimum, and that's still low. It still would keep you in the bottom 15 of FCS, even with that budget. And if you look at the bottom of FCS budgets, I think only one school is not a HBCU. So that's where we are, people. And my issue is that you don't have administrators that see it as their role to fundraise for athletics. You don't have board of trustees members that see it as their role to fundraise for athletics. You know, you hear about scholarships and strategic initiatives and all this other stuff, and that's good. That's important. I mean, that's our primary mission. But we should be able to chew gum and walk at the same time, man. I just the lack of the administration and leadership to realize. I will give Colonel Clark he has stepped in to try to help bridge that over his last few years in terms of supporting athletics specifically. But we just don't have enough people who are administrative roles who care about it the way I care about it, right? So I'm hoping this platform and this education will get more rattlers involved and motivated to really support athletics, because you know the biggest event that happens on campus is homecoming. That's an athletic event, and so I'll leave it there for now and let Kofi do his thing.
Let me say this, Kofi, before you jump in. You know what's interesting? You just said that people may not care about it, but you know when they care about it is when news, positive or negative, comes out about two things that are near and dear towards athletics and our band, right? Because those are the two marketable engines that promote the brand, right? So when we had the negative situation that surrounded our band several years ago, that touched everybody. People who didn't even know anything about our university, all of a sudden were like, hey, I heard about y'all school or something that happened. What happened, man? Y'all, somebody, the negative story sat with us. The positive, when we have the TV show, Why Not Us? Everybody's talking. So we should be investing in those two brands, because when the general casual public or general casual fundraiser or corporation, that's what they hear. Yes, it's great that we have and we spotlight all these other things. And I wish we lived in a different world where the gentleman who became the CEO of the largest financial institution became and the head of the ABC net, all these other great things that alumni are doing. I wish we would talk about those more, but our society isn't built like that. Unfortunately, our society values athletics a little bit more than probably it should. So we ought to take care of it, because what you don't want to have happen is when it's negative and you hear stories like what our young lady, Miss Robertson, when she talks about that and the experience she went through, the turnover. Yeah, she's going to represent us proudly out in Eugene, Oregon. But you best believe that what do they say, Kelvin? When you have a bad experience, how does that trickle down? What is that? That affects what, 6-7 times more people, or some number. I forgot what the actual number is, but you know what I'm saying? There's a trickle down effect on your negative experiences. People talk about, oh, I had a bad experience in financial aid. Hell, you still graduated, didn't you? You didn't leave FAMU because you had a bad financial aid experience. Hell, half of us had bad financial aid experiences, but we still graduated. We still made it through. Put that to the side. But when these student athletes can't get in the gym because they're not only having to be students and athletes, I mean, come on now. Make it make sense. You can't. Go ahead, Kofi. What do you got?
Well, we heard Coach Shoot last week give a firsthand account of what it's like being a coach in the department. We've also heard tonight from Coach McCullum. We've heard from an athlete who, unfortunately, after this meet, it's not guaranteed that she's going to run again for Florida A&M University. So, because of the raggedy experiences that she's had to endure on the highest of Seven Hills. Let me first say, it does not have to be that way. It should not be that way. We can no longer afford to defend what is not working. We can no longer afford to defend what's not working. Our athletic teams literally are performing, I would say, are competing with a competitive disadvantage. We talk a good game. We act like we want championships. We dress like we want championships. We throw snakes like we want championships. But the reality is, I can't tell if we really want championships. Because if you really wanted championships, you would have said, hey, Mr. President, at the NAA meeting, I would like to personally thank you for the academic job, for the job you've done in stabilizing our university. We really feel as though you've done a lot to even save FAMU from utter destruction. We appreciate all that you've done for that. However, there is an obvious lack of attention that has been, and dedication and focus and energy that is given to our athletic department. Let's address the facts. Nothing personal, Mr. President. We like you, but we can no longer look over the fact that we've had 18 ADs over the last 20 some odd years. That's a little absurd, and it's obvious that during three of those instances, you were in position to choose somebody to run the athletic department. Is it a coincidence that these people are no longer here? Now, in order for us to fix the dysfunction, we have to confront the dysfunction. Here's the deal. What you mismanage, you lose. What you mismanage, you will lose. If you mismanage your relationship, you lose that relationship. Athletics is being mismanaged. Do we really want to lose our entire athletic department? I don't think people see the whole gravity of the situation. It would be a shame for a school with the history, the legacy, the tradition that Florida A&M has to lose it because of mismanagement. Dr. Robinson, you're better than that. You're better than that. You're more intelligent than that. But hey, you said what your values were. Not one time have you stated how much you've really valued athletics. You said it in press conferences. We see you do the photo ops. We know, and to his credit again, I think that Greg Clark has done an amazing job of leading the National Alumni Association. FAMU is not an easy place to navigate. It's not an easy group of people to lead because everybody got an opinion. Everybody feels like they're right. People want to play a part. They're going to be in there. At the same time, there has to be a measure of courage where you understand that you're in position to serve the benefit of the university. It was not a good service to the university to not even confront the fact that our athletic program is in a dysfunctional state. And President Robinson has been at the forefront or at the foundation of a lot of the stuff that has been going on. We're literally looking at the possibility of the NCAA coming in and saying, hey, there's been a lack of institutional control again.
Wow.
I just wanted to pause right there so we could let that sink in, Rattler Nation. We can't sit back and just honestly say that we've necessarily given it all. And I had to come back and say, you know what? I got to make some additional changes. I had been a part of the NAA before, but I hadn't been active. I hadn't paid my dues. I wasn't looking forward to coming up to meetings because there's a lot of people that, you know, quite frankly, I do not trust and I do not believe in. And I didn't feel like my voice was going to be heard. But at the same time, one of my mantras, you can't change what you don't confront. I cannot change the NAA from the outside. I cannot change the system of the NAA from the outside. I cannot see FAMU change from the outside. So guess what? I signed up and I joined the JRE Lee chapter of Duval County in Jacksonville, Florida, and I'm looking forward to fully being involved and invested in seeing the necessary change. We got to see this as necessary change. Necessary change. Necessary change. Now, look, some people, you know, they don't know quite how to take what I got to say, but I'm not going anywhere. And I'm not going to stop saying what I feel like needs to be said, you know, especially from a bunch of people that are afraid to say it because they want a title. I don't need a seat on the foundation board to address the fact that President Robertson has been dysfunctional as a leader in regards to athletics. I don't need to sit on any type of board to say that we've got too many hands in the pot unnecessarily, too many wrong voices that are wrongly influencing our institution to do the wrong thing, that are serving wrong agendas other than Florida Agriculture and Mechanical University being at the very top. I'm not getting paid. I can just sit up there and look at the fact. I want to know from our board of trustees, how much money have you raised on behalf of our institution? How much money have each of you raised? Have you all brought to the table? What resources are you bringing to uplift the brand known as FAMU? What are you doing? Because if you're not doing anything, I would like for you to just simply say, you know what? This is too big for me. Let this seat belong to somebody who's going to legitimately come in and do something. So as far as I'm concerned, if you're listening and we're on here right now, we cannot, if you're not a member of the NAA, and I'm not saying it because I joined, but I'm saying we need to join. We need to not only join, we need to communicate, and we need to demand transparency. We need to demand it. Look, my money is in there now. I done paid my money. Look, hello, I'm here. So now these are some things, not trying to come in and run the organization or anything, but I'm willing to submit to this particular process for now to see what we can do together. Now, as Rattler Nation, as a fan, we've got football season coming up. We have never sold more than 12,000 season tickets. You got people saying, well, hey, you know, what's going on, man? You know, blah, blah, blah. I get it. Look, don't cry, people. Do not cry. Most of our other HBCUs are going through the exact same thing. They're going, look, I don't care about them, though. I love them, and I want to see them prosper. Please don't take what I'm saying personally, because I'm talking about the stuff and the shiggity that's going on the highs of Seven Hills that simply needs to change. Either we are sick and tired of being sick and tired, or we're not sick and tired.
Amen.
Are we sick and tired of seeing our coaches struggle to win? Struggle when it doesn't have to be, when we have a $31 million impact on any given weekend? So the money is there. The money is there. We go to Orlando and we make a $31 million impact in that city. That money could be going to Rattler Nation. Homecoming is well over a $31 million impact. That money could be coming to Rattler Nation, literally, if it's focused. If you have the right leadership, the right.
Yeah. Great points. All valid points that Kofi brings forth. I know we're short on time, Kelvin, but we got you back. Go ahead, finish your point there.
Yeah, just $5,000 would fix the nutrition aspect of it. $5,000. That's not a lot. $5,000, but we don't have that. Are you kidding me?
They got
And
that
by
in the
the way,
breakfast.
one thing I want to say about that, which is really disheartening, is because we put that in place. I was still around when the muscle milk thing was coming around. We're a Pepsi school now. Muscle milk is a subsidiary of Pepsi. So
wow.
I don't know what has happened that that we can't keep our coolers full of muscle milk. I just don't understand that one.
And let me
Wow,
just say this, and then
that's
I'm done.
interesting.
Because people want to know, well, what's the solution? What's the solution? Well, solution one is join your National Alumni Association. That's one. Number two, you need to be emailing your leadership on a consistent basis. They need to know that you're engaged. They need to know that you're informed about what's going on and you're demanding answers. Number three, don't stop giving and supporting, but find a way to get engaged. What we need to do personally, it's layers to it. So joining the NAA, and we literally need people on the governmental level to be in position to make decisions for the university, to sign paper or to sign money over to the university. We need representatives because we just lost a couple of people. But we need people in there that are going to be in the legislature fighting for FAMU. We need that to happen. And as an organized group, we need to be planning to sue the state. We need to be planning to confront the Board of Governors to simply say, we can no longer defend what's not working. This is not working for us. Our enrollment is declining, and there appears to be a cap on what we can do. Why are you all defining what we can do and who we can be? Now, if you all want us to be all that we can be, we need to lose some more money and lose some more funds to help FAMU to be all that it can be. By the way, y'all owe us over $4 billion. All right? So I'm serious. At some point, we have to go there. And listen, people, listen, Rattler Nation. This is the time. The leader of the Board of Governors went to FAMU High School.
Graduated.
He went to FAMU High. So he's more than aware of where we are and what we can do. We've got to step up, but it's going to take some time. But more importantly, it's going to take effort and dedication and focus to see the type of change we want to see on the Heights of Seven Hills. God bless you.
Well said, Kofi. Hey, real quick, I wanted to briefly mention. I know we got to wrap up here. You mentioned season ticket sales. One of the points that when I went back and listened to the presentation by Corey Lockley, who's the senior AD of Business and Finance, to the Board of Trustees. Okay. One of the points that came out in the budget analysis of FAMU football, basketball season tickets, they budgeted $250,000 they budgeted $400,000 for season tickets and only reached a goal of 39.5% of that. Okay. A large portion, and really that was able to be sort of covered by the fact that walk-up sales from the football season was basically plus 60% of the budgeted value. So we had such a good walk-up sales that it masked over the fact that our season ticket numbers were so low. And it just brought me up to when I was listening to that and writing the numbers down, I said, well, why were season tickets so low? Why did we only reach 39.5% of the goal? You know,
some of it was COVID. Some of it was COVID because some people didn't necessarily know if they were going to necessarily be attending games. And let me just say also, because of that, I don't think that the necessary marketing effort was there. But let me state again, back in the 70s, we're doing the same numbers that we were basically doing back in the 70s. It's ridiculous. Tallahassee at that time, back in the 70s, only had a population of 50,000 people. Now we're almost in Metro Tallahassee with a city of almost, well, basically 400,000 people within the Metro Tallahassee area. At this time, we should be able to pull at least 13,000 season tickets from this group. And we should be able to average well over 21,000 people per game easily. We've not even had a first-time Rattler experience for new constituents to get new fans to come into Bragg Stadium. Our product is great. The team is good. The band's going to be good, et cetera, et cetera. And we've got to do more than just support football. You know?
Yeah.
We gotta see if we get 21,000 for football, we certainly should be able to get 6,000, 7,000, 10,000 for basketball. We've got to start putting a value on it. The only way we're going to keep our brand protected is to value it. You know, and that comes from the administration, but it also comes from us. So again, buying it, being mad about it.
Stop using it as we've been doing. We've been using it and not putting back into the coffers. Real quick, Kelvin, I know we're gonna have, maybe you and I, we will have to do a sub pod and really just kind of talk about these numbers. Maybe is there one item you want to mention from that budget that we didn't get a chance to talk about tonight?
Game guarantees. The game guarantees. You know, Coach talked about basketball where they have to bring in contractually about over $700,000, and so that means they playing 9 out of 12 out of conference games on the road. You know, and
It was never defined what sport.
Huh?
You notice that? It was never defined what sport is giving those guarantees.
Well, there's only 3 sports that would get guarantees typically, and that's men's and women's basketball and football. So, you know, when we play the big schools, the UCFs of the world and so forth, that's a 6-figure guarantee. With basketball, it depends because they play in some international tournaments and so forth, where they play 4 or 5 games. Then while they're at a location, they pick up some local guarantees. But you know, those guarantees run anywhere from 50 to 100,000, right? So that's mainly men's basketball and a little bit of women's basketball. They have some guaranteed money. I believe baseball got some for playing in like the tournament before, but it's usually a small number. It's not the norm. So anyway, and my issue with guarantee games is the philosophy, is the mentality. You even heard him say it in the board of trustees meeting, is that we have to play those games made to balance the budget. Why are we forcing our football team and our basketball teams to play those games? It don't even go back into their budget, right?
It doesn't even make a dent in the budget.
That's my issue, you know.
And listen, I don't think we get it. We're at a competitive disadvantage in the freaking SWAC and the MEAC. Let alone trying to compete against Power 5 schools. We're at a competitive disadvantage right now in the SWAC and the MEAC. God bless head coach Willie Simmons and the job and the creative job and his ability to create some things and make some things happen that otherwise wouldn't happen. God bless Greg Clark for stepping in so that we could have a Willie Simmons being able to supplement the staff. But guess what? We haven't even paid all of our darn incentives yet. We still have vendors. We still have vendors out there that we literally owe.
We owe coaches,
I'm just
vendors, coaches. Yeah.
We talk a good game, but again, Jackson State is not playing.
No.
We sit around here and they're gonna be.
Gotta give respect to Dion and Jackson State. They they doing it the right way too, right? They're paying attention to detail. Everybody's marching to the same beat. And they're modeling themselves after what successful programs do at the FBS level. I mean, look at the coach he brought in. Look at the game analyst he's setting up for his staff, right? I know we can say what we want, man. You emulate excellence, right? And so I'm impressed with what they're doing. I'm gonna give them a shout out for that. Now we still gonna tap that butt in the Orange Blossom Classic. Don't get it twisted. But I mean, I really like what's going on there, and I have to, I admire that. Now I want to see us do more of things like that. Be on the breaking news of those kind of things, and we've had some of those things, but we got work to do. That's all. That's all we're saying here. You're educated. You can't say you don't know now, because the thing is, our university unfortunately doesn't bring these kind of information out to the people. So luckily we have this platform, and we've been able to bring some of that out. Now we want to do more than bring it out. We want to fix it. So we just got to go to work, support our teams, hold people accountable, and get the right leadership in place. Simple as that.
1 point, just over $1 million is what those guarantees brought in. Just so everybody knows, when we play North Carolina for week 0 this year, $450,000 is the guarantee for that game. One game. I don't see any future dates. I think it's a one game. Looks like it's a one game play as I look here. But $450K is what we'll be getting from that one game. So yeah. Again, we'll talk more about that. I did want to finally leave everybody with the FAMU Strike Tour is going to happen beginning June 23rd. That tour under AD Gaucher previously last summer raised $500,000 going around to various alumni chapters. Initially, it was postponed in late April. Once, of course, the change in leadership and a resignation by Gaucher. But the 2022, it'll kick off Thursday, June 23rd in Jacksonville. The event, powered by the Rattler Athletic Fund, Rattler Boosters, will feature interim AD Michael Smith and Coach Simmons. Hopefully, we can get some of our other coaches out, because you all need to hear their stories. You need to hear what they need. It's great if we can raise another $500,000. That'd be great. But again, a lot of smaller things could have been addressed. I mean, hell, muscle milk could have been paid for. Bonuses from our coaches could have been taken care of this weekend. I'm just saying. So while everybody came in and had a good time, you left nothing. For athletics, for athletics, you left nothing. Hopefully, you bought season tickets. You probably rented some hotel rooms. Maybe you bought some season tickets. I'm gonna pray that maybe you bought some season tickets. That was your contribution to athletics. I don't know. I'm being extra right now, so it's time to go. We appreciate you guys for hanging in there a little extra. If I can wrestle down Kelvin, maybe we'll do a supplemental pod and we'll break down the budget. Maybe we'll see. I may drive up to Tallahassee this weekend. That way we can do it live, and then we can head over with Coach McCullum. So that's all right. That's what I'm about to do. I'm about to sulk for a little bit, turn on some Tamiya, and that's it. That's it. I done got depressed off. Yeah. I did not cry. Whoever put that in the chat room, to hell with you. You lost your money. Whoever put that wager out there, you lost your money, because I did not cry on the show. This is sweat. Beads of sweat on my forehead. No tears. Appreciate again Rachel Robertson for joining us. Her Saturday, 5 o'clock is when she jumps. So it's the last day. So all the other stuff will be happening. Support all the HBCUs this weekend that are out there. We'll see what kind of noise North Carolina A&T makes. Howard's women in the 4x400. That'll be worth watching. And, of course, then Rachel Saturday late afternoon, 5 p.m., which will probably be 8 in the evening Eastern, 5 out there on the West Coast. So we wish her and the track and field program and everybody who's out there safe travels. And again, we appreciate Coach McCullum. He told you 7-game series, so go ahead and get your bets in early. 7-game series. That's what Coach told you. I don't coin toss on who's going to win, honestly. 7-game series could be anybody. I want to appreciate Mel for hanging in there. I know she's ready to go. She's tapping on her watch like, B, come on, I got to go. So that's that's going to do it for tonight. For my guy, Kofi, for Kelvin, I'm Brian, Rattler Nation. We thank you for being a part of this experience. Share the show. Find us on the BCSN Pod Zone podcast format. Go download the Jericho Broadcast Network's app on your Google or Apple Play Store. MyJBN, MyBCSN is where you can find us. The replay of the show will be available on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ONG Strike Zone. That's going to do it. Strike hard, strike often. Let the people know. Go join your National Alumni Association. It's time to give back and get involved and be a part of the change that's going to happen. We're going to force change down people's throat, whether they like it or not. And they just going to choke, they're going to choke because we're bringing it to them. Be good. Strike, and strike again, Rattlers. Be good. Be out.
Thank you.